this is gonna be a spoiler review just like last time because I can't talk about this shit without getting into spoilers. And a
Of
lot,
course.
a lot happened. Going to episode 4, we come back to the twins that were when we find out they were from the future, but earlier in the season they were trying to steal the Declaration of Independence. They give Invincible this whole sob story about this great dictator, and then they transport him to their future to overthrow the dictator. We're surprised to learn that it is what is his name? The Immortal. Right. We found out that it's Immortal. And he is begging Invincible to kill him because Invincible apparently left the planet under his rule. And Immortal pushes Invincible until he kills him. And yet again, we have another example where Mark's no-kill rule has kind of gone out of the window with the death of Angstrom Levy from season 2. Like he keeps, and it goes to that line, and I believe I brought this up last time we reviewed this. It goes to that line that Batman always brought up: when you start killing, where do you stop?
Right.
Where is the cutoff point for justified killing, so to speak? And of course, this killing is yet again justified because Mark was saving 2 other people, and Immortal wasn't going to stop without Mark killing him. Which is kind of funny considering his name is Immortal. But anyways, up until this point in the episode, like this was just standard Invincible fare. Greg, I'll start with you. What did you think of episode 4? I guess the start of it, the first half.
Man, it was so to me it was a bit like weird, like getting back into it. Like I guess when they kind of started the whole they needed him, I figured it was gonna be something. I thought it was his dad. I thought it was his dad. I was like, his dad again. His dad took over because it's like when there was a scene where he was taking him through, and it kind of reminded me of Marvel, but he was like, man, do you always wear your clothes underneath? He's like, I need to put mine, and then he came from the future and was like, hey, how you doing? He grabbed him. And it made me think, like, when he said there's some things you just don't need to ask about as far as, like, why he was sad, it made me think, man, there's so many other, which that's going to get into it, there's so many other universes out there with him. So I thought, man, this is going to be his dad has finally fulfilled the Viltrumite, like, prophecy of taking over the world, and now he has to fight him. But then a little bit was like, man, that's just too much. Like, that's too much to give right there. But once I saw it was Immortal, I was like,
the fuck?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, y'all can't give me more than this. Him, man, he handled him like early in the season. Like, like that's light work.
And that's what I'm gonna be honest. I was a little bit disappointed it was the Immortal.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't know who I was expecting. I wasn't necessarily expecting Nolan. I'm gonna tell you who I was expecting. I was expecting a variant of Invincible to be the one that took over the planet. That's what I thought we were going with. But when I saw Immortal, I was like, okay. And then Immortal kept bringing up that Invincible left him on the planet and all that kind of stuff. And again, I was just kind of underwhelmed with it. Up until this point, to be honest, underwhelmed with the entire episode. Chris, it appears that you echo those sentiments. Like, how did you feel about it?
Definitely underwhelmed, man. This is which I know this is an American thing, but this to me obviously 100% felt like in anime what we call a filler episode.
Oh yeah,
where ain't no real story being advanced. It's just some side bullshit to kind of justify another action or whatever. At this point, Mark making another kill, which I guess kind of progresses the story a little bit because now he's gonna have to struggle with that. Yeah, he's gonna have to struggle with that even more going forward. But the first half, bro, I was just watching the fucking minutes go by, if I'm being honest, bro.
Yeah, I was looking and I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, and that was my issue. And I kind of feel like it was deliberate because of the point I'm getting ready to bring up. That was my issue with season 2. Season 2 had some filler bullshit storylines going on in it. And the highlights, of course, is when Mark finds Nolan. And the finale was good because that's when you get Mark and Angel going head to head. So yeah, that was fine. And I was like, man, come on, man, don't give me a fire ass first 3 episodes and then y'all start bullshitting. Well, they certainly made up for it after the first few credits roll, because there's a second half of this episode. It's like 20 something minutes. And we finally get, and we talked about our hype for this when we reviewed the first 3 episodes, Chris and I. We finally get Nolan and Alan Alien breaking out of the Viltrumite prison. And boy, they deliver. One thing I love is that Nolan acknowledged Alan Alien as a friend. I thought that was a nice touch because they had spent so much time together. And Alan Alien was basically like, man, you know what? I don't give a fuck about that bullshit you did. It's a bigger issue that's going on. And yeah, we're friends. Me and you are cool. And he never really told him he was there to bust him out. But because you can see that Nolan is surprised that when he actually decides to do it. The meat of this and what makes this jailbreak so awesome, there is this huge chamber and somebody bumps into it. Somebody bumps into it, or I think Alan Alien knocks somebody into it, and then he hears something on the other side. So he opens it up. The sound I made when I saw it was Battle Beast inside of there, I already knew what time it was. It was about to be a good day. It was about to be a good day for me, bad day for other guys. So the Viltrumite officers, I guess, executioners come to kill Nolan, and they're beating the brakes off of him. Alan Alien is breaking Battle Beast out, and Battle Beast asking, like, is there going to be a good fight on the other side of this door? Alan Alien's like, yeah. He was like, yeah, it's fine, man. It's going to be cool. And then he said, will there be Viltrumites? Bro,
had to clutch your pearls.
Alan was like, what's wrong with this motherfucker, man? Bro, they were squashing the regular soldiers as expected. Man, I was so hyped when they finally got to the Viltrumites and Battle Beach that charges in. Dude, imagine being somebody, executioner, man, and you're going to do your job as a Viltrumite. You're going to do your job, do your duty for the Viltrumite Empire. And a motherfucker coming out looking like a lion, built like a tank. You ain't never seen this man before. And all of your Viltrumite instincts and training is not working against this man. That's who I felt sorry for. I felt sorry for that motherfucker who had to fight Battle Beast. I legitimately felt for him. Alan Alien and Nolan, the Viltrumite, they had to tag to him and whoop his ass. Old boy was out there fighting for his life in space and couldn't get Battle Beast off his ass, man. That's one of my favorite characters. Any Battle Beast merchandise, I got a copy. In the future, you will see a Battle Beast shirt on this show. Absolutely. It has to happen. Chris, how did you feel about the Viltrumite prison breakout on the back end of this pause? On the back end, pause again, of this episode.
And I second that, man. Battle Beast is one of my favorite characters, bro. When they showed him on screen, yeah, I was like, all right, we about to turn it up now, bro. And the funniest part of that whole thing is, like you mentioned, they had trouble finding the execution chamber. Battle Beast was about to pack Alan out.
Right. He
thought he lied to him. He thought he lied to him, man. Like, you promised me Viltrumites. About to pack him up, man. Yes, but again, yeah, he handled that Viltrumite he was going one-on-one with. I do love Alan's tactic to awaken almost the kindness and protector in Nolan's heart by allowing himself to get beat up to, you know, basically show Nolan like, hey, I need you. Like, you said you're not that guy. I think otherwise, and here's why.
Right.
And I think that was a nice touch for show. It definitely showed that, yeah, Nolan did some fucked up shit, but he may be redeemable. Probably not in the eyes of the majority of the public, but for the people that matter, he can certainly be redeemable.
And that's the thing about Mark and what makes Mark one of the strongest Viltrumites. It's his ability to lean on his emotions in battle. And Viltrumites are very much emotionless creatures. And Nolan finding that emotion by spending way too much time with humans, it drums up and it's come out of him at this point. And if you go back to that heartbreaking finale in season 1, that's what the battle was about. Nolan was fighting his feelings, his human feelings that he was having. And he was going to try to beat him out of Mark. But it ended up being Mark that made him realize, no, you have human emotions. You really don't want to do this. And that conflict that's in you, you're gonna have to resolve. You can't punch your way through that. And having Nolan kind of having us revisit that story with Nolan and Alan was a great touch. Shout out to that finisher where they both punched that dude in the head. That was horrible.
Talking about straight execution style from Mortal Kombat, man.
Hell yeah. Take it away, Greg. How did you feel about the whole battle scene and the themes that we saw unfold on screen?
I'm gonna tell you. So what got me was when Nolan was still in the cell, and he came to a resolution. He was like, "You know what, man? I miss my wife." I knew at that point, I said, "Alan got him." I said, "He got him," and my mind started thinking, like, at this point, he understands he could get out, but he doesn't want to because he wants to live up to his Viltrumite side. But at the same time, you got a friend that's like, "Dog, you did all this." You save people, but you still kill people. I get it, but there's still a greater good in you. Now, when Battle Beast came out and he was just laying waste to them, like little foot soldiers, whatever, the little appetizers till he got to the main course. The monologue he gave before they started fighting, when he walked in, to me, if a man walks in, it's 2 against 1, and he's monologuing, dog, he's finna put you to work. And the whole fight scene between Nolan and the guard and then Alan helping him, it was like you saw a little bit in the background, but you didn't see the full context until they broke the wall, got in space, and he's still out here putting it to his man.
He was still punching that man. Like Battle Beast is a menace. And here's the funny part about that. Battle Beast can't fly. The other Viltrumite, honestly, if he could have gotten away from Battle Beast, he would have had a shot.
Yep.
He would have had a shot. Nah, Battle Beast was like, nah, boy, it's all smoke. All smoke right here for you. So I can't wait to see Battle Beast again. But that does lead us to the big reveal. Alan is worried about other Viltrumites coming as reinforcements, and Nolan just matter-of-factly tells him they're not coming.
Right.
And Alan's like, well, how can you be so certain? He says only 50 of us left, which is an astronomically small number.
Right.
He says only 50 of us left, man. Like we're losing. Here's the secret weapon to beating us. You now know our numbers are limited. We can use that information to honestly defeat the Viltrumite Empire. And I'm very excited to see how that unfolds. Like the little space adventures, I like how they've been sprinkled in kind of on the tail end of other episodes to further those stories. And it gives us a break from, the mainline story between Mark and the Guardians of the Globes and Cecil and all of that kind of stuff. Right. So that gets us to episode 5. And this episode was very, very, very interesting. I love the whole storyline with Titan. Beginning to end, they delivered. I like how this season they're kind of stepping away from Mark and his main story to shine some light on other characters in the show. And of course, it's really interesting when they do that with a villain. And Titan, you find out he betrayed Metalhead back in season 1, which, funny enough, was our introduction to Battle Beast, when he beat everybody ass. Everybody. What's so cold about that scene? I know we just talked about him, but I got to give my boy some more shine. What's so cold about that scene is he did not kill anybody. He just stopped. And he was like, yeah, you know what? This ain't for me. Y'all really wasn't what I was promised.
Facts.
The Viltrumite you all did bring to me, he's an adolescent. I beat his ass right quick. That move when he takes that club and hits Mark in the chest, and that's it. And notice the rest of the team, they get mad, but you know who they didn't attack in that scene? Battle Beast.
All right.
Battle Beast opened the portal. Battle Beast opened the portal and left. They found something else safe to do in that fight. Battle Beast is like, I'm out. But anyways, we get back to it. But the opening of this episode is what we really need to talk about. I was disturbed, but I thought how Multi-Paul broke out or attempted to break out of prison.
Facts.
Crazy.
Greg, I'll start with you, man. What did you think about that opening?
Man, so the way he just carelessly multiplied himself, like he didn't care anything about them. It was all about getting out. That was really graphic to see how many he put into that cell and they busted it and he got out. And it just shows he a true villain at heart. Like it don't matter to me. Yeah, like it don't matter, bro. Literally the definition of I'll sacrifice myself to end you. Like literally, I will. And when he did, I was like, bro, he's gonna be a problem.
It was nasty. That was the time I was happy this show wasn't live action. That was disgusting.
Yeah,
like
that was tough.
But it was badass at the same time because at first I was looking, and when I finally realized what was happening, I was just like, well, hold on.
That was pretty smart. That was really smart.
He is thrown off to do some shit like that. I love his fighting style though, and how he used his duplication. Like it's the sleight of hand that he does. You're fighting one of them, and then when you shoot that one down, the next one is behind him, and he keeps you in the fucking face at this point. And like he was beating everybody ass up in there, and they had to give him the collar on his neck to keep him from duplicating again. Which I thought that was a pretty cool resolution. But it gets us to go ahead.
No, that's crazy. That's interesting when you said the sleight of hand, because when you think about how she caught him when what's his name, Adam Eve caught him.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have been watching that thing closely, I would have never saw that he multiplied before she did it.
Right before she did it.
Yep.
I had to rewind it because I'm like, when did he do that? But you can see when he did
flip. Yep.
And then what was badass about it? The version of him that got out came to the cell and looked at the version that was still in prison, like, we did this shit, which is funny. He's gonna still be in prison, but just like Duplicate, who we found out, like her multiple essentially assumed her identity, which it feels like the consciousness is split until there's only one, and then it all comes back together. It's gonna be a whole multi-Paul in there, and they'll be none the wiser. And he'll just be out in the streets again. But the main core of our plot is Titan is asked by what was his name? Mr. Liu or something like that. Whatever. Mr. Liu, who is this badass crime boss, who is the crime boss of all crime bosses, wants his assassin back. This whole episode hinges on Multi-Paul, and he tells Titan, look, you're gonna be tasked with it. I'm not about to get out there and do the dirty work myself. This is what I got you here for. And you find out about Titan's family, and Titan is just a man who ultimately isn't just like your typical villain. He wants control because he feels like the streets are actually safer with him than being in control of Metalhead or Mr. Luke. And that opens up like a really good story of Chris, what did you think about the tale that unfolded from the Titan perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, man, that like can't really judge a book by its cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, in the first season, you kind of feel like he isn't this heartless guy to begin with,
Right.
but now you see why, right? Like you said, this was all to protect his family, but essentially his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that rings volumes, man. I mean, how many people have done that in real life? Like, I feel like this is going to be a lot better as long as I'm in this position to call the shots,
Right.
right? Like, I'm not necessarily a bad guy, but I know I'm going to do less than what he's going to do. So leave it up to me. But yeah, I think that was a real nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
We got to peel back some layers of his personality and how caring of a father he is, which, you know, we can all attest to that. So that was kind of dope to see.
Yeah, I agree. I like how he shows Invincible. The streets are much better with men involved and me in charge.
Mm-hmm.
There is a worse threat that's out there, and I'm trying not to give him what it is he wants because honestly, the way Multiply was out there killing people, if Mr. Lou and him get back together, goddamn, you know what I mean? we gotta keep him locked up. And again, this gave Mark's world is no longer black and white at this point. And he really was struggling with, okay, should I help this guy? Like, I know this is a bad guy, but I'm really helping him maintain the order of controlling really criminal activity. Should I help him? And I love how up until this point we've gotten hints that Mr. Luke eats people. And then Titan just flat out says, no, he turns into a fucking dragon. He will eat you. It's not that he just like this cannibal. That's not what we're saying. He will eat you. Boy, they deliver on their promise of him turning into a dragon. That shit.
Luke Kane style.
I'm up here thinking it's gonna be like a humanoid dragon. No, he turned into Shinron. He's a big boy. And he was just out here flying, gallivanting in the skies above the city, tearing shit up. And it got us to Mark fighting a magical being, which is something you see in Superman. Superman fights all types of things, science experiments, other superhumans, aliens, and mythical beings as well. And it was kind of a fun fight. And then you got to see him and Adam Eve team up together, which was dope. Like it was a good bloody fight, but bro, Mr. Lou beat Mark ass, didn't it?
He was a problem.
And we talked about this last time. Yeah, we talked about this last time. I like that the threats that Mark is going through has elevated along with his newfound strength. Like now he's a stronger Viltrumite, but now he has stronger opponents. And I like that escalation. How did you guys feel about like the handling of the whole dragon fight and all that kind of stuff? Chris, I'll start with you.
I thought it was dope, man. Like you said, just the whole dragon form was crazy. And then he even mentioned that he's not made of this world with his dragon astral plane form. So Mark even kind of, you know what I'm saying, he kind of did him in, or so he thought, and he just kind of shaped back into reality. Like it was crazy, man. But
Mark
I do
was
love
on the verge of losing when he gave it his best effort, and the dragon just got back up. But go ahead.
Nah, facts. Yeah, it was curtains for Mark a couple times in that fight, man.
Right.
I do love the whole astral plane projection. Like, hey, guard my actual physical body, because if something happens to that, then the dragon goes away, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of dope. You know, so it even though how OP he was, he's still beatable.
He had a weakness.
Yeah. I appreciate that the most.
And then he had an 8-foot tall golem looking dude guarding his body, man. So that was gonna be a tough out. But at this point, you kind of see the plan unfolding. Like Titan started to fight with the dragon. His right hand man double crossed him. Invincible got involved, and while Invincible honestly was taking the fight, that's really what Titan needed Invincible for. He was going to be the only person that could go toe to toe with the dragon. The real problem was getting to the body, and that's where the brilliance of Titan's plan comes in. Greg, what did you think about the double cross that Titan pulled on Mr. Luke?
Man, so it caught me on guard. But I kind of saw the way that plan actually worked the best was not only Titan, but Isotope. Isotope played a very vital role where he kept
Isotope the MVP, honestly.
To be honest, because he showed he in the same maybe 30 seconds, he betrayed Titan, he betrayed Mr. Luke, and he betrayed Machine Head, all in the same 30 seconds. It's crazy how he set that up. And then once they had finally killed off the dragon, he snaps in. I was like, ain't that about a bitch? Where he come from? I thought, man, it threw me for a loop. But another thing is we saw how Multipart and that dragon fought in that prison. Like, if it wasn't for Adam Eve, bro, it would have been a wrap. Quick.
She's Invincible's MVP, the show.
Yeah,
she helped him out. Yeah, because look, Mr. Lou was on everybody's ass. He done tore the prison up and everything. He will beat the fuck out of people, bro. I do like how Isotope, like, it was the obvious solution, and because the whole fake out of the betrayal, you let your guard down on it, and Mr. Lou and his bodyguard let his guard down. Well, yeah, I don't have to fight you if I can transport you 100 feet into the air and just drop you.
That makes still
easy money. And then he revealed that he was about to betray him, which made the bodyguard then lower Mr. Lou's body, and that's all he needed him to do. Honestly, he could have transported both of them and just dropped them, but he didn't do that because you run the risk of the big golem saving the dude.
Yeah,
it was the execution of Mr. Lou by Metalhead that was just dope as hell. Yeah. And he was talking shit up until that point. Like, boy, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for this shit. Shout out to Titan. That's another way to get Metalhead out the way. Worked perfectly. Look, I'll let you kill him and become the boss's boss. All you gotta do is leave me alone. Hell yeah, Metalhead taking that deal.
Facts.
Titan is such a smart character. That's what I really liked about all of this. He's such a smart character, and I love the way he handled everything. And again, Invincible is left with the world is a great place. Sometimes they're going to have to get dirty. Go ahead.
One more thing. So this is something I thought about that thing. Mm-hmm. So in the end of this episode, we see that Mr. Lou, the bodyguard of Mr. Lou didn't die.
Yes.
He didn't build him, but he didn't die. So think about it this. Titan didn't die, and he did the same thing to both of them. He knew how far to drop them for them to survive. Mm-hmm. What if it's in the plan that Isotope is the one that's going to basically betray all of them and have a plan to betray every last one of them, and then he's going to be the boss?
I'm not beyond Isotope being that diabolically smart.
I ain't even after seeing that.
What I do think,
and that dude still survived. I said, no, man. I said, something don't sit right with that. Because I know he did it to Titan, so he would survive. But you let Metalhead think that you killed his bodyguard, because we saw him drop in the background. But at the end, we saw him come back, and I thought, well, if he did that for Titan, what's to say he didn't do it for that bodyguard?
I like that. I like that theory. The reason why I'm not sure that that's the case is because of the hints that we got from Mr. Lou and how powerful he is up until that point. And honestly, it benefits Mr. Lou if people think all they have to do is kill him, when that's not the case.
Yeah,
right. It benefits him. So, like, you don't reveal all your tricks. That's it. So this gets us to episode 6, which honestly, overall, is one of the better episodes of Invincible. Mm-hmm. But this dude right here, this one of the dumbest people. He is so fucking stupid. Facts. You had to take a couple leaps to even understand why he was just so hard up, pause, to kill Mark. Like, Mark couldn't save your sister and her kid. All right? He just couldn't do it. His father, a full-grown Viltrumite, was beating his ass, sir. Sorry. That's what was going on. But to find out that the arm that was in Mark's hand was his sister's arm that was crazy.
Yeah,
the boy lost his the boy lost his mind. I like the origin of Powerplex. Everything I like outside of not understanding after seeing Mark do all these heroic things, and especially having him work for the CIA and seeing Mark up close. I didn't understand him not understanding that Mark was actually a hero. I wish they would have leaned more into him being afraid that Mark was going to do what Omni-Man did and turn on him. That makes more sense to me, being paranoid in that way. But him being grief-stricken just doesn't work because, again, Mark was clearly not the bad guy. Powerplex has everything you need to be a good villain. He has powers that make sense. I love that the more abuse he takes, the stronger he gets. And eventually it puts him on par with a Viltrumite. I do like that. The suit works for me. The whole power disc, all of that stuff works for me. His origin needs a little work, but you have the makings of a badass supervillain. The thing that's missing is common sense. I was with him until I wasn't. Greg, what did you think of Powerplex, man? This episode was good, by the way. Episode 6 really was good, and they did a good job building up. I like how every time he called Mark out, you kind of had that anticipation of Mark showing up. But they kept like putting it off. Adam Eve takes him on at one point, and then the Guardians of the Globe comes, and the first fight was against
Century, I think.
No, it's the Shifter dude.
Yeah, Shapeshifter.
Yeah, Shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter.
Shapesmith.
Yeah, Shapesmith.
He fought him. Yeah, he fought him, and that was like kind of a fun little fight. It kind of reminded me of Broly. How when Broly starts out, he's built up as this badass, but in his first fight against Vegeta, he doesn't do that well until he starts to evolve. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me of that. And then you finally get to the fight with Mark, and Invincible doesn't go in punching. Like Invincible comes in and he tries to reason with him. But tell me how you felt about Powerplex starting out, Greg.
Powerplex to me, like you said, is the makings of a great villain. I like his aesthetic when he comes with, like you said, the more damage he receives, the powerful he gets. Now he deserved to beat the living dog shit out of Shapesmith. Like that dude to me is super annoying. And when he fighting him, I mean, I felt bad for him because nobody knew who he was, but you kind of like third string when it comes to superheroes. So I mean, whatever. But I think, like you said, he didn't have enough common sense to understand his powers before he went after Invincible. Yeah. He basically understood what the orbs that he has. He understood what they could do for him, but he didn't understand like his limit because he was so riddled with emotional like disgust and anger and my sister don't like what he used to power himself, that it ultimately cost him way more in the end, which I still don't think he's done. I really don't think he's done. It'd be great if they bring him back. They have to bring him back. Because
I feel like
off that episode alone, I see so many angles where he could be used. But I see so many angles where he could team with Cecil too. Like that's one thing. I can see that. I can definitely see him teaming with Cecil. But in the end, like what it cost him in order to fight him, and then when they figure out how your powers work, it's like you being defeated. But that scene when he was in that truck and he figured it out, oh, bro, I was like,
this shit was dope.
Man.
Yeah, this shit was dope. Oh, and I'd like the scene with his wife hitting him with the sledgehammer. I thought that was a cool scene. Like the way they built Powerplex up was dope as hell. I'm gonna give them all the credit for that. And then, eventually, like we said, we get the face off. And I'm up here thinking, okay, we're going to get a pretty dope fight. But man, Invincible goes in. He's like, look, you got a point. You went through all of this stuff. It's not about whether I am an actual good guy or not. That doesn't matter. What matters is what happened to you. And I'm sorry for that. And I just want to understand what it is that I can do to fix it. And then basically at this point, Paraplex is he ain't trying to hear shit. He tries to kill Invincible, but at the same time, you don't quite fully understand Viltrumite powers. So that was a risk in and of itself. This man ended up killing his damn wife and child. And you know what? She's stupid too. She's stupid too. Yeah, cook both of them. And then Powerplex act like the shit wasn't his fault, and he got even more mad at Mark. And Mark like, man, sit your ass down.
But you know what? You know what? Powerplex's mindset behind that was kind of the same as Mark's when he first started. Like, my bad, I'm still a superhero. I'm doing good. Like, I didn't know, like, I don't know my limits to my power. I'm sorry that happened. He was just very immature about it. But I believe the way Mark introduced himself to him, like, bro, I could come at you and probably kill you, but I want you to understand that the feelings you have right now, I think he had a bit of empathy. Like, I feel what you're feeling. I understand what you're feeling, but it doesn't get you anything in the end. But he was so brighter with rage, he couldn't hear none of that. All he knew is, I want him dead.
He did. I mean, and again, that was like the classic tale of revenge really doesn't get anybody anywhere. Especially again when you don't have goddamn common sense. Chris, what were your thoughts on this episode?
Man, fuck that bitch ass dude, man. That's how I feel about it, straight up, bro. Yeah, everything y'all said, 100% check the boxes, right? He had the makings of a great villain. His suit, his powers, his abilities. Like you said, he basically like a walking Black Panther suit, building up energy after every lick he take. Like, I get that part of it. But like you said, bro, it's the lack of common sense where I got to jump off the bandwagon, bro. Like, I can align with a villain as long as their reasoning makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You have none, so I can't fuck with you, bro. Like, and even like he's rewatching the tapes of Chicago, seeing Omni-Man hold Mark in front of the train, and he's still blaming Mark for this. Like, I can't rock with this dude, bro. He a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't rock with him, dog. He is obviously going to make a reappearance the way he broke out of that truck at the end. So obviously he's going to play a part further down the line. But it's fuck him for me, dog.
Yeah, even when he's in the prison, he's still blaming. Mark didn't do that shit, man. You did that stupid shit. You did all of that stupid shit. All the shit you mad about, you did it. But that's honestly where we ended with that story arc. But we got a tease of what's called in the comics the Invincible War. Angstrom Levy is who has been spying on Mark and his family, and we have the reveal of all the other Invincibles that are going to be coming after Mark. And from my understanding on the next preview, the Invincible War is the next episode. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. It's definitely gonna be lit.
U-GeekTV.